On March 15th, the United States launched a wave of attacks on Houthi targets in Yemen. The Trump administration had pledged to step up efforts initiated by President Biden to combat Houthi assaults on commercial shipping and U.S. regional assets. As reports swirl of new U.S. strikes, the U.S. government has also been clearer in blaming Iran for Houthi actions, and it has promised to hold Tehran accountable. I'm here with Jon Alterman, director of the CSIS Middle East Program, to unpack the current state of play and the dilemmas confronting U.S. policymakers in dealing with the Houthis. Who are the Houthis and why do they matter?
The Houthis are a regional revivalist group that's been waging war in northern Yemen for most of the last 25 years. They control most of the population of Yemen, and they're seeking to become the permanent rulers of a large swath of the country. They've been trying to get control of oil wells near Ma'rib to give them a source of revenue, and they've launched attacks on shipping in the Red Sea starting right after the Gaza war broke out, supposedly in solidarity with the Palestinian people.
So what are the Houthis trying to do?
I think they're trying to do a number of things. One is they're trying to distract the Yemeni population from what is really a very poor record of governance. The Yemeni people are poor. It's hard to get access to food and water. They're not very good at what they do, and if they're fighting a war, it gives them an excuse not to deliver to the population. They also say that they're defending innocent Palestinians, and they get some sympathy for acting in solidarity with an oppressed Palestinian population. I think the other thing that they're trying to do, it's a little bit ironic, but they're building themselves up as a worthy opponent of the world's greatest superpower. And in a way, by fighting the United States and having the United States not being able to decisively defeat them, that enhances their reputation in Yemen because they can stand up to the greatest military the world has ever known and prove to be a worthy adversary.
How much of a priority has the United States put on fighting the Houthis, and what tactics has it pursued?
It's mostly been defending against Houthi attacks and trying to protect shipping in the Red Sea. A lot of the world's trade passes through the Red Sea. It goes through Egypt and then often to Europe and other countries in the Mediterranean. The United States has tried to defend Red Sea shipping lanes. It's tried to protect ships from Houthi attacks. It has been partially successful. There's also a European escort mission that's going on in the Red Sea. The United States has periodically attacked Houthi assets along the Red Sea, but it hasn't been able to decisively silence Houthi attacks. What you've seen in the Trump administration is in some ways giving in to the requests of the U.S. Central Command to take the gloves off to really go after the Houthis, not only to put the Houthis on the list of foreign terrorist organizations, but to use much larger scale attacks against a wider array of targets to really try to put an end to Houthi aggression on global shipping.
What are the potential end games here?
Well, the desired end game is that the Houthis give up. And it's certainly possible. I think it's probably unlikely because the Houthis have been fighting for decades against a whole set of adversaries, and they seem to dust themselves off and resume fighting. That's been their history for a long time. It's possible that the United States feels that it has to escalate attacks in Yemen and maybe even have part of it be a ground campaign to try to move this in a different direction. It's possible the U.S. could support Houthi adversaries in Yemen and get enmeshed in a long-term proxy war. And in that case, Russia and Iran may end up giving more support to the Houthis than they already do. The other possibility is that the United States isn't able to deal with this on the Houthi end and decides to make good on the assertion that the Iranians are really the ones behind this and uses the battle against the Houthis to have a battle against Iran. I think Iran has carefully built up the Houthis with a lot of deniability. The Iranians certainly have supported the Houthis, but not nearly as much as you'd think. Maybe about $100 million a year, which for a state supporting another group is not a huge amount of money. And the results they've gotten from that have given them a sort of the ability to say, we don't control it, but we can influence it. Wouldn't you like us to play a constructive role? I think the Iranians would like to have it both ways. They'd like to have the ability to both dial up Houthi attacks and also dial them down. It's what Norm Rule, the former national issue manager for Iran in the CIA, used to call implausible deniability. But it seems to me that the Iranians don't control the Houthis. They influence them more than anybody else. And it's certainly possible that the conflict with the Houthis turns into a conflict between the U.S. and Iran, either because the United States insists on doing it or the Iranians can't find a way to dance away from it.
Thank you very much, Jon.
Thank you, Asher.